Where's Jesus' cross? The answer takes us back to the 4th century when Saint Helena, mother of Emperor Constantine, traveled to the Holy Land with a clear goal: to find the sacred places of Christianity. According to the Christian historian Eusebius of Caesarea, it was during this journey that Saint Helena discovered 3 crosses in Jerusalem, near the site where the Church of the Holy Sepulchre would later be built. But how could they identify which one was Jesus' cross? Christian tradition, according to the theologian St. Ambrose of Milan, says that when one of the crosses was used to touch a sick person, they were miraculously healed, confirming it was the true cross. Over time, pieces of this cross were taken to different parts of the Roman Empire, and some are still kept in places like the Basilica of the Holy Cross in Jerusalem and other significant churches. However, modern historians question the authenticity of these relics, although their symbolic value remains undeniable. What do you think? Could this be the true cross of Jesus? One of the most fascinating enigmas of the apocalypse is that of the 2 witnesses. According to the book of Revelation, these figures will appear in the last days to announce God's judgment for a period of 3.5 years. During this time, the 2 prophets will perform astonishing miracles, such as stopping the rain, turning water into blood, and unleashing plagues, acting as a warning in a time of darkness and rebellion. Although their identity is not clearly revealed, many believe they could be Enoch and Elijah, as the Bible states that neither of them experienced death. In the book of Genesis, it is mentioned that Enoch walked with God and was taken, while Elijah was taken to heaven in a chariot of fire. This detail aligns with the idea that all human beings must face death at least once. However, these witnesses will be defeated by the beast that rises from the abyss. Their bodies will be exposed for 3.5 days, becoming the subject of mockery and rejection. Yet, in an act that will demonstrate divine power, God will resurrect them and take them to heaven, leaving the world in awe and fear. Are you ready for the day of their return? Did you know that Jesus will face humanity during the apocalypse? The book of Revelation describes a final confrontation between good and evil led by Jesus. He appears as a rider on a white horse, symbol of victory and justice. In this battle, Jesus does not use human weapons. His main instrument is his word, symbolized as a sword coming out of his mouth. In this final judgment, the kings of the earth and their armies, who follow the beast and the false prophet, are defeated. But who is this false prophet? According to Revelation, he is a figure who performs miracles to deceive people and promote the worship of the beast. Some believe he could be a charismatic human leader capable of manipulating the masses against God. This confrontation is not a physical battle, but a divine judgment in which Jesus brings justice against those who rebel. Do you think this false prophet is already among us? Did you know that Mary, the mother of Jesus, did not experience death? The Gospels do not mention her death, and although she was a central figure in Jesus' life, her final fate has always been a subject of fascination and devotion. According to an ancient Christian tradition, at the end of her life on earth, Mary did not die like other people. It is said that due to her purity and her pivotal role in the history of salvation, God granted her an extraordinary destiny. Instead of experiencing physical death, she was taken to heaven with both body and soul. Some accounts from the early Christians tell that at the moment of her ascension, her tomb was found empty and a heavenly fragrance, like that of flowers, filled the air. This mystery has sparked reflection and debate throughout history. What do you think? Do you believe that Mary was taken to heaven by God?
Did you know that a demon confronted Jesus? Jesus had just arrived in a distant region when, suddenly, a possessed man appeared before him. However, this was no ordinary possession, but something much more terrifying. The man, filled with a dark power, didn't flee. Instead, with a trembling voice, he asked a chilling question. "Have you come to torment us before the time?" Jesus didn't respond, hesitate, or negotiate. With total authority, he cast the demon out in an instant. The demons, desperate, entered a herd of pigs, and moments later, the animals went mad, running uncontrollably and plunging into the sea. But what did he mean by before the time? This demon not only recognized Jesus, but he seemed to know something about his own fate. According According to the Bible, demons will be judged at the end of time, but this one feared his punishment would come sooner than expected. Did this demon know something about the end of the world?
Did you know that after Jesus' death, the dead were resurrected? When Jesus died on the cross, a great earthquake shook the land, the rocks split, and the tombs opened. Up to this point, it might seem like a natural phenomenon, but what happened afterward was truly astonishing and unsettling. Amidst the chaos, something impossible occurred. From the open tombs, bodies began to move, not like shadows or spirits, but as real people, flesh and bone, men and women who had died years before, now standing. The first to see them were paralyzed with shock, and others began to notice these long-departed individuals, family members, the elderly, historical figures, all walking through the streets of the city. Fear gripped Jerusalem. Some ran away, others fell to their knees, and no one could comprehend what they were witnessing. It was as though death itself had been defeated, as if the sacrifice on the cross had altered the course of humanity. Do you think this was a divine message?
Know that, according to some legends, Lilith was actually Adam's first wife, not Eve. The widely known story tells that God created Adam and then formed Eve from his rib. However, there's another narrative found in ancient texts that speaks of a woman who came before Eve, a figure who rebelled against Adam and defied divine authority. According to Jewish folklore, Lilith was created at the same time as Adam, from the same earth, sharing the same essence. When Adam tried to dominate her, she refused, saying, "We are equals." As a result, she left the Garden of Eden on her own accord. She then retreated to the Red Sea, where she is said to have become the mother of demons, marking her as the first woman to challenge the established order. Over time, Lilith became demonized, often associated with a threat to children and mothers. Yet today, she is seen as a symbol of freedom and rebellion. What do you think? Do you believe Lilith was truly Adam's first wife? Did you know that Cain was cursed by God and sentenced to a fate worse than death? The traditional story tells us that in a fit of jealousy and rage, Cain killed his brother Abel, committing an unforgivable crime. But his punishment was even stranger and more terrifying than death itself. God didn't kill him. Instead, he marked him with a mysterious sign, condemning him to wander endlessly across the earth with no home or rest. But there was one condition: no one could kill him. But what did that mark truly mean? Some believe it was a sign of protection, ensuring that no harm would come to him. However, other legends suggest that the mark was more sinister, a sentence of immortality. It said that Cain was doomed to walk the earth forever, never aging and never dying. Some even connect him to vampire myths. And this brings up a chilling thought. What if Cain is still out there, wandering the earth, hidden in the shadows of history, unable to escape the curse placed upon him? Could the first murderer still be walking among us? Did you know that, according to the Bible, God made the sun stop for an entire day? In the middle of a crucial battle, Joshua and the Israelites were about to defeat their enemies, but nightfall was fast approaching. If darkness fell, the Amorites could escape. At that moment, Joshua made an incredible request. "Sun, stand still over Gibeon, and moon stop in the Ailon Valley." Amazingly, the sun and moon remained fixed in the sky, giving the Israelites extra time to win the battle. The Bible notes that never had there been a day like that, when God obeyed the voice of a man in such a way. But what does this really mean? Was it a literal miracle where the earth stopped spinning, or could it have been an unknown astronomical phenomenon? Some ancient civilizations recorded an unusually long day, which has sparked debates between believers and scientists. What do you think? Did God stop the sun, or is there another explanation? Did you know that God made time go backward? King Hezekiah was on the brink of death. His illness was consuming him, and death seemed inevitable. Desperate, he called out to God for mercy. It was then that the prophet Isaiah arrived with a message. God had heard his prayer and would grant him 15 more years of life. Hezekiah, doubtful, asked for a sign to prove that this wasn't just an empty promise. Isaiah gave him two options. for the shadow on the sundial to move forward 10 degrees or go backward. Hezekiah chose the impossible. The entire city fell silent when the sun, instead of continuing its natural course, began to move backward in the sky. The shadows shifted in the opposite direction, as if time itself were retracing its steps. An event with no logical explanation, a phenomenon that defied all natural laws. For many, it was undeniable proof of divine power. For others, it remains a mystery that challenges reason. Was it a miracle, or is there another explanation? Did you know that Satan challenged God over a single man? Job was known for his righteousness and deep faith, living a life filled with prosperity and a loving family. Seeing this, Satan questioned whether Job's devotion was genuine, arguing that he was only faithful because he had everything he could ever want. In response, God allowed him to be tested, but with one condition: his life could not be taken. In just one day, Job lost everything. His livestock was stolen, his servants were killed, and a powerful storm destroyed the house where his children were, taking their lives. Despite the overwhelming grief, Job refused to curse God. Still not satisfied, Satan claimed that if Job were to suffer physically, he would abandon his faith. So he was struck with painful sores from head to toe. Sitting in ashes, he endured in silence. Even his wife urged him to curse God, but he remained unwavering. When his friends came to visit, instead of offering comfort, they accused him of wrongdoing, believing he must have sinned to deserve such suffering. But Job knew he was innocent. He cried out to God, desperate for answers. Finally, God responded, revealing his infinite wisdom and power. Humbled, Job accepted his fate, and in the end, his fortunes were restored. He received twice as much as he had lost. If you were in his place, how would you respond to such a test? Did you know that the image we have of Satan might be far from reality? Throughout history, his representation has changed drastically. In the Middle Ages, he was depicted with horns and a tail as a symbol of absolute evil. In literature, for example, in Paradise Lost by John Milton, he is described as a majestic and proud being whose fall was caused by his arrogance. In movies, we see him both as a cunning manipulator and a terrifying creature. But how does the Bible actually describe him? In the book of Ezekiel, chapter 28, he is mentioned as a guardian cherub, endowed with great wisdom and beauty. His body was adorned with precious stones, and he walked among divine fire. However, his vanity led to his downfall. His heart became filled with pride because of his splendor, and his wisdom was corrupted. As punishment, he was cast out of God's presence and thrown to the earth. From the beginning, he was not a monster, but a glorious being who fell due to his own ambition. If the Bible describes him this way, why has his image evolved into that of a terrifying demon? Did Jesus really carry an entire cross? And was it even shaped the way you think? The Romans used different types of crosses for executions, including the X-shaped cross, the T-shaped cross, and the Latin cross, which is the most well-known. According to historical and archaeological research, it is highly likely that Jesus was crucified on a Latin cross, consisting of a vertical post and a horizontal beam. Typically, those condemned to crucifixion carried only the horizontal beam, known as the patibulum, which weighed around 20 kilograms, 44 pounds. Meanwhile, the vertical post was usually fixed at the execution site. In some cases, prisoners were forced to carry the entire cross, but there is no absolute certainty whether Jesus carried only the patibulum or the full structure. However, beyond the physical weight of the cross, the greatest burden Jesus bore was the weight of humanity's sins, a burden so immense that no one else could have carried it. Did you know that a donkey once spoke? Balaam, a greedy prophet, was called by King Balak to curse the people of Israel. Even though God warned him not to, Balaam was tempted by the reward and set off on his donkey towards Moab. But something strange happened on the way. Suddenly, the donkey stopped as if something invisible was blocking the path. Curious, Balaam hit the donkey to make it move, but the donkey turned and crushed his foot against the wall. Furious, he hit again. Then something unbelievable happened. The donkey spoke. "Why have you beaten me these 3 times?" asked the donkey. Without hesitation, Balaam replied, "Because you are making fun of me." That's when God opened Balaam's eyes and allowed him to see what the donkey had already seen, an angel with a sword blocking the way. The angel warned Balaam that if it weren't for the donkey, he would already be dead. Realizing his mistake, Balaam understood that God didn't want him to curse Israel, but to bless them.